Hey everybody.
Hi. We're back again with another guest who you might be guessing is a contributor from our latest issue of Hidden Compass. And if that's your guess, then you are right. And if you're here for the first time and don't know who the heck we are, I'm Sabine K. Bergman. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Savani Babu. We're the co-founders of Hidden Compass. And we are joined today by Lauren Napier, who is a contributor to our current issue. And we are going to chat with her a little bit about her story, her career, and some other things. And we're excited that you've all joined us. So thank you. But Lauren is, Lauren Napier finds solace in melody and the written word. She has penned a children's book, All My Animals, and stories for NPR Berlin, amongst other texts and songs. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're excited to talk to you.
Certainly.
Yeah. So in your piece, you have this really strong character, Charles Young, who's a Buffalo soldier, big character in your piece. And in your research, you stumbled upon this connection between Charles Young and your own ancestors. I want to know what that moment was like, discovering that connection, and then how it shaped the piece that you were writing.
Well, the piece certainly already had a personal tone because of the soldier narrative that connects to my father and such, and the slave ancestry aligns with the Buffalo soldiers' history as well, their trajectory. So there are already these personal pieces, but as I was flipping through pages of this one biography of Charles Young, I came upon the last name of Cobble, I've been saying Cobble. And in my research, it hadn't come up yet in terms of the Buffalo soldiers, but it had come up in my own slave ancestry as one of the slave owners that owned a large piece of my family. And so I realized also in my research that the world was a lot smaller back then, a lot less people, so literally smaller in population. So when you see those last names, there is usually a definite connection that they are going to be related. And so when I traced that back, I did realize that they were blood kin, and suddenly it was slave holder standing on the land that I was researching and also on land that I had visited. So it really brought it physically into my personal realm.
Wow. Yeah. I just want to note for people who are watching right now, if they're hearing lots of children in the background, there is a playground near where Lauren is. And so that's what you're hearing. It sounds like some children yelling and screaming. And so we just want to make sure that people know what that is.
Yeah.
They're not hidden in my flat. They are in the churchyard over there playing happily.
Good for them. Good for them.
Good clarification for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, so I was going to ask, we often pick these arbitrary labels for ourselves: musician, writer, photographer, etc. How do you describe yourself, and how do these different elements fit into your life? Because you do a lot of things.
I do. And I always hesitate when I'm asked to label, because I think that we lose so much when we do label and we put everything into these little nuggets and boxes and things like this, and we don't allow things to naturally overlap and relate to one another, because particularly in realms of the arts, they all do relate. My poetry intertwines into my music. My music takes me to places where I have conversations with people and learn these stories that I wish to write, which overall informs my being and how I interact with the world. So to label that, you've gone from poet to human. So I think that it's dangerous to label too much. So I try to avoid it when I can.
Yeah.
It's an interesting issue at the moment that people talk about, the multi-hyphenate right now that comes up in a lot of contexts. And you're right, we do, by forcing people to choose, we do lose so much of what makes them interesting and unique and what makes them them.
Right.
I'm kind of laughing to myself because the next question that I have is forcing you to choose in a way, which is, what is your favorite thing about what you do?
It's my connections to other humans. my mother always taught me that outside of ourselves, that's what we have, is our connections to others. And so no matter what I do, I would like to offer a bit of softness in the world. I think that we live in very tense moments, and it's easy to jump into moments of aggression, or, you know, these anxious moments. And so to offer a bit of softness or a moment of pause or a reflection, I offer to do that with my music, with my writing and such. So yeah.
We get a chance to work with and chat with incredibly fascinating and, you know, interesting and diverse people who have diverse interests and things that they do. And so we like to ask, you know, what's the last book or article or podcast that you recommended to someone? We like asking this because we get so many different perspectives and different answers to it.
Someone just recently asked me for a gateway to Kafka. He's a favorite of mine. Kafka is the reason that I chose to learn German, because I wanted to read what Kafka was saying. You know, we even have Kafkaesque as a word, but what did he actually mean? If you don't read it in language, then you lose a lot, right? So Kafka can be a bit dense. He can be a little intimidating. He's weird, sometimes not in the best of ways. I hate to use weird as a pejorative, but his letters to Milena, one of his fiancées, it's a very, well, I hate to go there again, but it's a soft way to get to know Kafka, who can be a little, you know, brutal. And so these letters, there is this romance, of course, that he wishes to portray, but he's also true to being Kafka. So you get this dismal gray area that is kind of an introduction to his novel. So it would be Kafka's letters to Milena.
Wonderful.
That's a great recommendation.
Yeah.
And also recommendation for those who do read German to read the original, and then the rest of us can read the translation for sure.
Yeah.
So for those who are watching and are not familiar with how Hidden Compass operates, every story that we publish alongside a fundraising campaign, which lasts 3 months. And at the end of the 3 months, we at Hidden Compass split the proceeds 50-50 with every storyteller on top of what we pay them for their articles. This piece, Lines of Duty, which I think we forgot to mention the title at the beginning of the video, but that's the piece that Lauren wrote for us. We already see that the fundraising campaign has gotten many contributions. So Lauren, is there anything that you want to say to the people who have contributed to your fundraising campaign so far?
Just thank you. I mean, thank you for spending a moment with the story and with the words, but more importantly, with the moment of history. And thank you for supporting that narrative. Ever grateful.
As are we. We're grateful to those who read the magazine, who contribute to the campaigns. We're grateful, of course, to every writer and contributor who brings in unique voices to our publication. So thank you, Lauren, for your story. Thank you for being with us here today. And thank you to everybody watching and who has supported us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, and we will see you next time we are on.
Which will be in a little bit. Yes, yeah. We won't be back next week, but we will see you soon.
Yes, you won't miss us for long.